Hello everyone, this is Professor Govind. Let us today discuss about remaining data types of VB.NET and also will discuss about some of the basic elements available in VB.NET. So the first data type we have is single data type and the memory size it supports is 4 bytes and these are the values that we can store. This is the range of values that single data type supports. Of course, single data type is used for storing numbers or numerical values and it can store both positive and negative numbers. And this is the range of value that single data type supports. And also we have a string data type which supports alphabets or which can store alphabets. It can store alphabets or Unicode characters from 0 till 2 billion characters. In simple terms, string is used to store alphabets or special symbols. Let us now discuss about some more basic elements of VB.NET. The next concept we will learn is variables, a concept of variable to which we all are familiar with. A variable is a storage space where we can store value, where number can be stored. In any programming language, in order to use any number for calculations, for comparisons, etc., in any way, if you wish to use numbers, it must be stored first in any programming language. Likewise, in VB.NET as well, in order to use any number or in order to use any set of information, any kind of information, we'll have to store that information separately in a memory container or in a storage space. That storage space or memory container in programming terms is called as variable. A variable is nothing but a name given to a storage area or a space that our programs can manipulate, our programs can access data from. Each variable in VB.NET has a specific type which determines the size and layout of the variable's memory, the range of values that can be stored within the memory, and the set of operations that can be applied to the variable. Variables come in different types. Like variables indicate what kind of value can be stored in a given memory container. Variables indicate what size of or what range of values can be stored. So VB.NET, in any programming language, not only VB.NET, variable is a way of creating or storing data in a memory space and also indicating what kind of data can be stored in a memory space and what size or what range of value can be stored. In order to use any information, we'll have to store data first in variable in any programming language. And variable is nothing but a memory space. Size of the memory changes according to the kind of data we select or kind of data type we select. The next concept we have is reserved word. Reserved word is also called as a keyword. Keywords are the default words in VB.NET program statements whose meaning is already been explained to VB.NET compiler by the language developers. So reserved words or keywords are the words which cannot be used as variable names. These are the words which are created by VB.NET developers for VB.NET usage. The meaning of reserved word or keywords are already explained to compilers. As a designer, as a programmer, we cannot use these words for our program as a variable name. Keywords are nothing but the words or the terms which are generally used in programming. But say there are some reserved words, there are some keywords, those names we cannot use as variable names in our programs. The next concept we have is about identifier. Identifier is a name given to a variable. A variable name is called an identifier. An identifier is a name used to identify a class, a variable, a function, or any other user-defined item. There are some rules while giving names to these elements. While naming a class, while naming a variable or a function, we need to keep in mind some of the basic rules. Like the first rule is a name must begin always with the alphabet or a letter, and then it can be followed by a number or a special symbol that is underscore. We cannot use any other special symbol other than underscore, and each and every variable name must always begin with an alphabet or a letter. The first character in an identifier cannot be a digit, neither it can be an underscore. It must not contain any other symbol than underscore, and as I said earlier, it should not be this name, that is the variable name, should not be a reserved word or a keyword. Let's talk about one of the most important topic of VB.NET, the operators. Operators are the symbols used. Operators are nothing but the symbols used generally in the calculations or in the comparisons. The variables used in the equation are called operands, and the symbol used in the equation or calculation is called operator. For example, if I write a plus b, a and b are called operands and plus is called operator. Let us have a look at what kind of operators we have in VB.NET. We'll talk about some of the generally used operators. There are many more operator categories available in VB.NET. VB.NET is not restricted only to the ones which are mentioned on the screen. In VB.NET we have many more operators, many more categories of operators, but in this video we'll discuss about only the operators which are generally used or commonly used in routine programs. So let's talk about some of these basic categories. The first one we have is arithmetic, the most commonly used category of operators. We then have comparison operators, we have logical operators, assignment operators and concatenation operators. Let's talk about these operators in detail. The first one is arithmetic operators. To start with, in arithmetic operators which are used for arithmetic equations, we have simple operators like plus for addition, minus for subtraction, into for multiplication, division. In division we have got three operators. The first one is a simple slash or a forward slash. It divides one operand by another and returns floating point result. If you look at this particular operator, let me highlight it or let me mark it. If you look at this particular operator, it is a division operator but which is used for displaying floating point results, and it will display quotient as your answer. So slash, forward slash is used for displaying quotient as your answer, and it will display floating point result. Floating point result is the result which contains decimal point and decimal digits. The next one we have is backward slash, which again is used for displaying quotient as your answer, but which displays results in complete numbers or integer, which will not display decimal dot and decimal digits. With the division operation, there are two possible results available. One is the quotient. For example, if 6 will be divided by 2, then 3 will be the quotient, and remainder, the other result possible, which is 0. For having remainder as your answer, the operator we have is mod. Name of the operator is mod. If I write 6 mod 2, remainder will be 0 and answer will be 0. So mod is used for having remainder as your answer. Reverse slash is used for having quotient as your answer, but the answer will be an integer type, will be a complete number without decimal point. And to have quotient as your answer with floating point result, we'll have to have is forward slash. We then have one more operator which is called a caret operator. This is used to print raised to result, one number raised to the other number, or it raises one operand to the base of another, to the power of another. For example, to write 2 cube, 2 raised to 3, we'll have to use is 2 caret 3, which means 2 cube, and it will display the result as 8. So caret symbol is used for having the result wherein one number is raised to the other number. The next operator is comparison operator, wherein we have simple operators like equals to. Then we have is Second one, where we have greater than and smaller than symbol, it checks if the values of two operands are equal or not. If values are not equal, then condition becomes true. The next one is greater than. A is greater than B. We all know what the use of greater than is. It checks whether the first operand is greater than the second one. Then we have is less than, to check whether the first operand is less than the second one. We then have greater than or equals to check whether the first operand is greater than or equal to second operand. A is greater than or equal to B. The next one we have is less than or equal to, check whether the left operand is less than or greater than the right operand. A is less than or equal to B. So these are the comparison operators: greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and to compare two operands we have A is equal to B. And to check whether both the values are equal or not, we have greater than and smaller than symbol, smaller than operator. So this is about comparison, which are used for comparing two operands, two or more operands. The third category we have is logical, and in logical we have got three operators: and, or, and not. And operator is a logical operator as well as bitwise and operator. If both the operands are true, then condition becomes true. This operator does not perform short circuiting, it evaluates both the equations. What it means is, if you are using and, then whatever conditions are given, both must be true. If A is greater than B and if A is greater than C, then A is considered as the largest value, for example. If you are checking conditions and if you combine all the conditions using and, then and makes it compulsory for all the conditions to be true, and then only it will display the result. For example, attendance will be given when students sit quiet in the class and when they pay attention towards the lecture. If I combine these conditions, what are the conditions we have here? Sitting quiet in the class and paying attention towards the lecture. These are the two conditions we have. When both these conditions are true, when particular student sits quiet in the class and listens to the lecture carefully, then attendance will be given. When both these conditions are fulfilled by the student, then only attendance will be given. Whereas if you check the next condition called or, it does not make both the conditions to be true. If out of two, one condition is true, it will print the answer, it will display the answer as true. If students sit quiet in the class, or if students listen carefully, then attendance will be given. Or does not make, both the conditions to be true. Or does not require both the conditions to be true. Even if out of two, one condition is correct, it will display the answer. If out of 10 conditions, even if one condition is correct, then or will display the answer. But if you have 10 conditions and if you are using and makes it compulsory for all the conditions to be true, then only it will display the answer as true. Not is a logical operator. It reverses the logical state of the operand. Not is the operator which reverses your answer, which prints the answer opposite to what we expect. What I mean is, if the answer is yes for a given condition, not reverses it into no or false, and if the answer is false for a given condition, not reverses that answer into yes or true. So not will reverse the answer, it will print the opposite answer. The next one we have is assignment operator. Assignment operators we have are of two categories. The first one is called simple assignment operator, and the next ones we have are compound assignment operators. Assignment operators are used to assign values to the operands. For example, if I write A is equals to 10, then 10 will be shifted to A, or 10 will be stored in A. LHS is equals to RHS. RHS will be shifted to LHS. So first one is equal to, then we have plus equals to. If I write A plus equals to 10 and assume that in A we have 10, if I write A plus is equals to 10, to the existing value of A, 10 will be added. So if I write a plus equals to 10, the second operator I am talking about, it is as good as writing a is equals to a plus 10, which means to the existing value of a, 10 will be added. Let me repeat. Let's say we have 5 available in a. Let's assume that in a variable or in an operand called a, 5 is stored, and if you write a plus is equals to 10, then it is as good as writing a is equals to a plus 10, which means 5 plus 10, and the value of a after this equation will be 50. On the similar grounds, we have minus equals to, into equals to, as well as division equals to. In division we have both reverse slash and forward slash, both for floating point variable or result and for integer result, and also we have is caret equals to find out power of results. The next one we have is concatenation operators. Concatenation operators are used to join or concatenate two strings. In a given sentence, to join or to concatenate two strings, two text values or two text strings, we use concatenation operators. The two concatenation operators used are plus and AND. Both these operators can be used to concatenate strings, but plus operator is used or preferred while concatenating numbers. So concatenation operators are used to join strings. For example, good and morning will join good morning. It can join two separate results. It can join number with strings, number with text strings, etc. And there are two concatenation operators available in VB.NET, and those are plus and AND. So these are the operators we have in VB.NET. Thank you everyone. Thank you so much.